Now, when you're taking your Corvette out of storage, what we want to do is we want to do basic checks to make sure that it's safe to be driven and that we don't have any further problems that occurred over the winter, such as leaks and things of that nature. Obviously, when you first do it, when you first get your car cover off, you pop the hood. Then you're going to take a quick look at the antifreeze to make sure that it is up to the level. And certainly, this one is right up to the neck. Unfortunately, it is definitely not what it needs to be. It is not bright green in color. It definitely looks contaminated. So this is something that I would be looking at getting a coolant flush done with a fresh mix of 50% ethylene glycol green antifreeze and 50% distilled water. The combination of the two will give you a freezing point to minus 30 degrees and will give you a boiling point over 250. So certainly that would be a good place to start. Secondly, your power steering fluid is another thing that should be checked on a consistent basis. Now, you will have a cold reading and you will have a hot reading. Obviously, the vehicle has not been driven, so our level is right here at the cold mark, which is very, very good. Now we just do a quick look to see if there's any contaminants in the fluid or if there's any moisture, possibly being whitish in color. We want to look to see if there's anything there too. This looks good. From this point, we go and we dip the stick for the engine oil, the life's blood of any engine, and we will bring it out and check it. Now, at this particular point, it definitely looks dirty, but we're going to stick it one more time just to make sure that everything is, the oil level is exactly where it needs to be. Now, at this oil level, it is within the crosshatch area, slightly below. Remember, the crosshatch on your dipstick is your operating range, and it's critical to understand that you do not need to have it all the way up to the tip top. As long as you are in this upper crosshatch area, usually I would suggest halfway in the crosshatch or above, that is perfect for your operating range, and you could leave it alone without adding any engine oil. From here, you could also do a basic check for squeaks and rattles, looking to see if your hood latches have a little bit of skim grease on them so that they don't squeak as you're driving down the road. From here, we can go to the other side of the vehicle and then check your brakes. Now, while you're standing here, the tires, you could do a quick visual inspection looking for any abnormal wear on the inside, outside shoulder, or in the center. In this particular instance, we do have some outside camber wear because you can see the depth is lower, the tread depth is lower than it is over here in the center. You can see less of my finger here, and you could see more of my finger here. So it's a quick check. We know that there may be an alignment issue, something that we would want to address at that point. Last note, if there are any cracks between the tread blocks, this is an indication of ultraviolet damage, also a point for replacement on the tire because of that. Between the outside shoulder wear being almost bald and the cracks within the tread blocks, I would recommend replacing these tires. Now we're on the driver's side of the vehicle, and what we want to do is from this side, we're going to check a couple of additional points that we can't check on the passenger side. The first thing we do is we want to check to make sure that the serpentine belt is in good condition. Now, under normal circumstances, you're looking at a belt, you see some cracks, but how do you know if it's good or not? Well, the normal specification for serpentine belts is looking for 3 cracks in actually 1 inch of distance. Now, in this case, there's more than 3 cracks within 1 inch of distance, so this is a belt that I would replace. Now, this is the first design double-sided belt that was originally equipped on LT1 in 92 and 93. You can, if you choose, retrofit or refit the vehicle with a single-sided belt, as there was a bulletin for this condition. Now, the second thing we want to do while we're on this side is we want to check and look at our master cylinder. Is the brake fluid level high or low, and do we need to add? The key thing to understand is we do not go in and take the cap off. As you can see from right here, there's a dark area and then there is a light area. From this point, we know we can see the brake fluid level very, very clearly. And then the marks for minimum and maximum are right underneath the engine control module. Now we are under the maximum, but we are above the minimum. So I would leave this alone. Certainly, if the brake fluid has not been flushed within 2 years or 30,000 miles, I would suggest that the brake fluid be flushed anyway for good maintenance practices. Now, as with our other how-to videos, we have covered battery care and maintenance in depth. Certainly, while we're here, we want to go and make sure that the battery terminals, whether they're loose or tight, this actual battery terminal is definitely loose on the negative side, so we're going to torque this down to 11 foot-pounds at per factory specification. Now, while we're here, obviously we would want to have the engine running for this next fluid level check. When you check automatic transmission fluid, you want to make sure that you check the vehicle's fluid level when it is idling and the vehicle is warm. Now, for 5th and 6th generation Corvette, this changes because you have a fill sight plug on the side of the transmission. So we cannot use this check for the 5th or 6th generation Corvettes. But when you check transmission fluid, you want to look for basic condition. Obviously, you like to see a little bit of a pinkish color to it, but remember that Dexron 3, Dexron 6, all of the Dexron automatic transmission fluids will grow to a brown color over time. This is due to the fact that the dye will break down over time with no negative effects, but it will never stay perfectly pink forever. It's just not that way. And is still classified as normal if it is a light brownish color. Now, as you can see on my finger, there's a little bit of a talcum powder-like black substance on the dipstick. That's okay, as long as the fluid does not smell burnt in any way. And you could take a quick smell just to see if it really turns your nose. If it feels like it just smells just not right, then obviously you know that there is something more in depth that needs to be looked at.